the billing and the whole thing kind of brought together. So,
Okay.
well, hey everybody, I am Jim Gast, and this is No Law Firm Left Behind. Thanks for joining us this week. I am so excited to introduce you all to a friend of mine for what? Gosh, Peggy, we've known each other for a really long time.
Since I bar association days.
Yeah, way back, way
Yeah.
back. We had some great events down there,
20
didn't we?
plus years, right?
Was it that long?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Am I that old?
Yeah. We all both are.
You're killing me. You don't look a day older, that's for sure. Me, on the other hand, I'm not aging so gracefully. That's a fishing for a compliment right there. I'm just
There you
kidding.
go. We all look good the older we get.
Well, listen, everybody. Peggy is my guest, and I am so excited that to have her. And it's been long overdue. She was supposed to be on the show back in March. We had to postpone, and so here we are. And Peggy, listen, I told everybody in the post, if you are watching or listening today, to have a pad of paper and a pen. I can't get a pen out here quick enough. A pad of paper and a pen so they can write down all of the important musings today, because every time I talk to you, you have something that I learn new every time. And so before we go any further, though, please introduce yourself, because I will not do you justice.
Okay, Jim. Thanks. And nice to be on this show with Jim, and nice to be meeting everybody that's going to be listening in. My background actually started in the IT world. So I'm an IT consultant by my first career. After doing the IT stuff and raising children and taking off work and then getting back into work, I landed a great job at the Cincinnati Bar Association. So I was director at the Bar Association, director of membership, which is really where my career in legal started. And I just really grew attached to working with the solo small firm lawyers in the community. And from there, I did a lot of speaking or teaching at the law school. And eventually, I kind of outgrew that job. It was still one of my favorite jobs, but I went into the world of managing law firms. So I was a COO for a local law firm, Stegner, Saba and Patterson, and did that for 5 or 6 years. And while I was doing that, I was still developing an interest in helping lawyers, really using my IT background at the time to help lawyers set up virtual law practices, continued mentoring law students at the law school. And eventually, I kept getting enough inquiries from lawyers to help them with things. I thought, well, maybe I could make a business out of doing this, something like this, right? So I eventually launched CPN Legal. And when CPN Legal first launched, our niche business wasn't what it is now, which is bookkeeping for law firms and Clio conversions. It was more, I was spread a little bit too thin, for lack of better words, Jim. I was trying to do help with marketing stuff. I was trying to help with setting up, IT stuff. And I quickly realized, which is what I teach my lawyers when I'm mentoring them, is you need a niche practice. If you want a profitable business, you need to build a niche practice. And that's what we did. So our niche is very unique. We do accounting, bookkeeping services for law firms. We have 330 law firms all over the country.
Wow, Peggy, I just have to
We're
wow at
not
that.
accountants, and I always say that, but I have a staff here of 18 very knowledgeable bookkeepers, and we're experts in Clio as well. So I'm one of Clio's top consultants across the country and really work closely with Clio when they're developing new integrations with QuickBooks, because we're QuickBooks Pro advisors as well. So we've been doing CPN Legal, really, Jim, for about 7 years now. But it's funny because we're going to talk about business growth, okay, and mindset right now through this thing. We were running our business out of our house, my husband and I. My husband was an outsourced CFO at the time, he had a couple clients. And when I decided to do this full time, I kind of brought him into the business because he's a little higher skill set than me when it comes to technology, not technology, more like finance stuff. So brought him into business. We were both working at a home we have a home office, and I kept taking new clients. Clients would come aboard. He said, Peggy, we got to get out of this house. We have to rent office space. And I was like, I was so reluctant to do that. And but it was the best thing we ever did,
Oh,
Jim,
yeah.
because We came in the building you're in. So Jim and I are both actually in the same building. We're on the third
Hi,
floor.
Peggy.
And we rented our first office, and that led to hiring, right? So all of a sudden we have our first employee, we hired, and things started changing. And I think the reason they changed was because of my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I really started thinking of this as a business. You're not working from home anymore. You're working in the office. You're hiring, and that was actually 3 years ago in April that we moved into this building.
Really?
So we went to having one employee to now having 17 employees, which is crazy. And I attribute all of it to that change of mindset, realizing that we could build a business. So,
Hey,
yeah.
go ahead. No, go ahead, please. Please continue.
Our business has two arms to it.
Yeah.
One is we do conversions. So our real expertise is Clio conversions. Somebody migrating from PC Law or Amicus or TAPS 3 or one of those legacy traditional systems. We work with the Clio migration to help come into Clio correctly. But the part of that's really the important part is the QuickBooks part, the financial part of it, right? So Clio is a cloud-based software system. I'm sure most of you have heard of it or should have by now. But it's a software system that's a law practice management software, really robust system, but it doesn't have an accounting module, right? So Clio relies on the integrations with QuickBooks Online for law firms to be able to have a financial part of their software, of their business at hand. So that's our sweet spot. We understand how to connect Clio to QuickBooks. We also do Practice Panther in my case, but Clio is definitely our sweet spot. So getting all that integration set up, helping people rebuild their QuickBooks. Maybe they're converting now. It's April 1st, right? And they want to convert from PC Law to Clio, which means we got to get them set up on QuickBooks. Well, we have to actually rebuild all of 2021 to date in QuickBooks so that we have one profit and loss statement, we have one balance sheet statement, and for tax purposes, everything's in one place at the end of the year. So the conversions are something we do a lot of work with. And then we do QuickBooks training. So a lot of these firms that are coming from PC Law and Tabs and Amicus, they have in-house bookkeepers, for lack of better words, or office administrators that have been doing their accounting work, but they don't know QuickBooks. So we spend a great deal of time training those people on how to use QuickBooks and Clio together. And then the second arm of our business is the bookkeeping side of it, where we offer services where we're doing monthly reconciliations. We're doing the trust through a match. We're experts. I'm considered a subject matter expert in trust accounting. Have written books on that. We do the financial reconciliations, a set of reports so you guys can see how your business is growing or not growing, looking at areas, issues that we spot. We also do invoicing for our clients. So we're going to talk a little bit about cash flow and building profitability. And so we do invoicing, probably it's up to about 35 clients now. Wow. And we're good at it. We are really good at it. Awesome. Then we also help pay vendor bills. We run payroll. We can set up payroll for you. We don't run payroll ourselves. We use either a product called Gusto for payroll. If anybody's looking to switch to payroll, Gusto for payroll, write it down with that pen and paper. Fabulous product. And then so that's kind of the bookkeeping side of it. And then we create a lot of custom reports. We're really big into building custom reports to show profitability, productivity, realization rates, efficiencies, and cash flow reports. So the cash flow reports are a fabulous tool for any small solo law. I mean, we don't really have any solos. I mean, true solos, right? Yeah. They're out there. But cash flow reports are another tool we have in place, and budget tools. So that's the nutshell, what we do for lawyers across the country.
And you do it well. I've known you for a really long time. I've never seen you do anything less than 110% all the way through. So I can second everything Peggy's saying. They're awesome. But I want to go back to something you said. First off, two things. First, your book. You mentioned your book. I didn't know you did a book or contributed to a book.
Well, I wrote a book with Nikki Black from my case.
Oh, she's awesome. I love her. Plug the book. What's the book called?
It's on my website somewhere.
Plug it. You plug it. Amazon?
Google Trust Accounting by Peggy Gruenke.
There you go. Trust Accounting by Peggy Gruenke. And oh yeah, Nicole Black, I'd love to have her on the show. I'm going to work on getting her one day too. She's really cool. So okay, but besides plugging the book, which I'm so excited about, I want to talk about for a minute one word that you said, mindset,
Yeah.
right? That is a killer, right? Because none of this stuff matters if the customer, your customer, my customer, the lawyer, right, and the law firm doesn't have the right mindset for running a proper business. So, I mean, do you help with that mindset transition also?
Well, it's a different type. We help in a different way. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
a mindset coach by any
yeah,
means, right?
yeah.
But in the mindset is really a growth. It's all about growth. So what we do work with lawyers on is we're doing their books, and we've been working with them for a while.
She's a
I'm
busy
sorry.
woman. What can we say?
Wait a minute. Um, we've been working with them for a while. I'll notice things like, they'll say, "Hey, I want to do a budget. I'm projecting. I want to do revenue of 45,000 a month." Well, okay. Well, how are we going to get to that number? Or maybe it's 50,000 a month.
Mhm,
Well,
mhm,
guess
mhm.
what? You can't do it by yourself,
No.
right? There's only so many hours in a month. Then they start talking about, well, what if you hire somebody? You know, that hiring, that first step into hiring, that's where that growth mindset happens.
Yeah.
All right. Because then they realize that they can make money off of other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're hiring. Hiring's not easy. You got to hire the right person. You got to train them and all that. But you have to do that if you're ever going to grow your law firm.
Yeah.
Can't grow your law firm by being the business, right?
That's it.
You have to build it by bringing other people into it. And when we work with them and we can help them project numbers, like, okay, what if I'm going to hire, Joe, and I pay him $65,000 a year? How am I, what are those numbers going to look like? Like, how much does he have to bill? What's his billing realization rate need to be, and what's the collection realization rate need to be? And then we get to that number for them to visually see that. So that's what happened to our business.
Yeah.
Is we hired because demand was out there, but every time I hire, I feel like I'm ahead of the game, and then I get more new clients, and I'm hiring again. So
That's a
um,
neat feeling. That's a neat feeling. And somebody said to me something. We were talking about business startups this week, and I forget who it was, but they said, and a lot of people, you always have fear of that first hire. It's that you just, how am I going to take care of that person and feed them? Am I going to lay them off? Their family's going to depend on the salary they're getting from what I'm doing. I got to take care of them. Yeah, those are good anxieties to have. But the problem is that you need to turn them around and realize that if you have those anxieties, you will meet that need if you have it there. It's like you're not going to not pay yourself when now you're not going to not pay somebody else,
right,
and
yeah,
so it'll happen, and we're both proof of it.
it drives it. It drives the business.
You
It
have to
drives.
feed off those anxieties. You
Yeah.
have to feed off, turn them around. So okay, so in these conversations with people, you encounter people, lawyers in their firms that have no idea about accounting, have some idea about accounting, or maybe even have advanced ideas about accounting. What's the range of people that you deal with, and maybe you can kind of tell us a little bit about some of them and the situations they've been in.
Um, I'll start with a story about that one
Ooh.
because we tend to get most of the lawyers we work. They don't want to do QuickBooks work. They
Mm-mm,
don't
mm-mm.
even know how to reconcile an account. They don't know how they don't even know how to read a profit and loss statement. They don't even know what one is, right?
Well, can
But
I just say one thing? Lawyers just want to practice
they
law.
want to practice law, and
That's
that's
it.
why we're here. We
That's
we know
right.
you don't want to do the financial side of your business, but you have to. You have to keep your financial house in order. You
Yeah.
can't be loosey goosey about it. And I'll tell you why. I got two examples. The biggest example happened in the year of COVID in 2020, right? The PPP loans.
Mm.
A great government, you know, little perk for everybody, right? But to get the PPP loans, you had to fill out an application. And part of that application required submitting a profit and loss statement, submitting a balance sheet, submitting documents that they didn't have because they never had QuickBooks for their business. They never reconciled accounts. They didn't know what a profit and loss report was looked like. So that was the year that we really saw a lot of value add in our business. And what we did for our clients was we could help them get all that documentation together, actually help them fill out their PPP application. And that was really quite rewarding because they relied on that to survive those, next 6 to 9 months,
Yeah.
um, when business was down. And actually, I'll tell you what, our a lot of our lawyers they they didn't suffer much through that. I have a couple law firms that do education law in schools and stuff, so they were affected because all the schools were shut down, right? Um, and it was kind of, and anybody that was doing a lot of criminal work in court, but they quickly adapt the court system to Zoom
Yeah.
trials and things like that. But anyway, that year, the PPP loan, helping them get that loan, helping them make sure that they secured that so that they could keep their staff. To your point, Jim, right?
Mhm,
Now you've
mhm.
got staff, you got to keep employing them and letting them have their livelihood, right?
That's
Um,
what this show started on, by the way, keeping staff employed, keeping the doors open. That's why we started the show back then.
Interesting. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. And then, so that was how we really helped a lot of clients, and that's where we saw that they were just ill prepared, right? And
Mhm.
so it's like, be prepared because you never know when these opportunities are going to come around that you're going to need this information. Some lawyers, they missed out on it,
Yeah.
because to get the PPP loans, one of the criteria, what that I won't get into all the PPP stuff, but one
Mm.
of the it was a payroll subsidy program, right?
Mhm.
So you had to be on payroll to get the
Oh, yeah.
PPP loan, right? Because you had to submit payroll reports. This is
Yeah.
all the stuff you had to submit. And
Withhold taxes.
if
Yeah.
you never took the time to set yourself up as a S corporation where you could become a W-2 employee of your business, you lost out on some of that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was still another way to get it, but it was a
Yeah, they
different.
changed some of the rules later on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and
So
then
lots of those loans applications. I mean,
yeah,
if you're an attorney and all you're doing is practicing law and you just got your head into law, how would you know, right? They don't teach this stuff in law school.
no, no, they should,
Not at
but they
all. Oh
don't.
my God.
And then the other stories that happen is trust accounting, right? So we've been able to step in and help people that got into a little bit upside down with their trust accounts, not to
Mhm.
you know, God love it, wasn't always their sorry, what's the right word?
Just accident. Just happened by accident.
Accident happened accidentally, but it
Yep.
still happened, right?
Yep.
It still happened. So the letter still went to the Supreme Court that your account got overdrawn. So we spent a lot of, well, not a lot of lawyers, but there's a handful of them that got into this kind of trouble, and we were able to help them build their trust three-way match reports, build their QuickBooks data because they didn't even have QuickBooks. So
Mm.
when the Supreme Court was looking for, all these the bank statements, the backup data, the reconciliation reports, they didn't have any of that. So we had to recreate and build all that for them to show that they were in compliance with,
Mhm.
and the Supreme Court was, this was a high example, but they it happened because they closed a trust account
Hmm.
with unclear checks out there, which you
Ooh.
never do. Okay.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
happened. And those unclear checks started clearing, right? So it was very accident. But anyway, it's where we can step in, and now with all of our clients we do bookkeeping for, if they get if they get it audited, their trust accounts are in pristine shape because we can produce the three-way matches going back, since we started working with them, produce their bank reconciliation reports, all the stuff that they need, we can produce for them because we're doing their bookkeeping.
I would imagine that the Supreme Court, it bears better that you're providing the reports rather than them producing the reports. Surely that has to carry some weight that an expert like your company and yourself
Yeah,
produce the reports for them.
yeah. And something, now that you touch on that, even though we're doing the monthly reconciliations for everybody and producing those reports, it's the lawyers that are really responsible for the
Mhm.
ethics behind those
Yeah.
reports, right? So when we're done doing those type of reports and finishing the reconciliations of all the bank accounts, we send all that stuff to our lawyers so that they have it, and technically they're supposed to sign off on it, but they have what they need if they were ever to get audited.
Peggy, it's the same thing with technology. SpliceNet's a technology company, not to plug us, but the same thing. They're responsible for the ethics with their technology. they can't help put their head in the sand. They have to have a cursory knowledge of what you're doing, a cursory knowledge of what we're doing, because when it all rolls up to the partners in that law firm. They're responsible for this.
Yeah. The other thing that we've been really being able to help our law firms with when it comes to growth and profitability is building best practices.
Oh, this is a pen and paper time. Pen and paper time for anyone listening right now.
So when you're thinking about growing your law firm and making it profitable, we think of it as a funnel. Okay, and the top of the funnel, unfortunately, is the lawyer's time. Time is your inventory, right? That's what's going to happen. And we can get into the whole flat fee conversation versus non-flat fee another time. But if you think about the funnel starting with time getting entered, then getting billed, and then getting collected, and then rinse and repeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a simple. Law firms are the simplest business ever. They're very simple. You don't have inventory. You don't have widgets. You just have, you have to make money. You have to pay bills. You have to set up payroll, and it's just not complicated.
No, it's the easiest in the world.
It's an easy business. So what we do is we help that keep flowing. Okay, so we are we're the outsourced back office for law firms. So we're doing all your finances, all your accounting work. We're even doing your invoicing for your clients. Okay, so we make sure that last week this was yesterday was the 4th of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We got our handful of clients. You have 35 clients we're doing invoicing for. Is your time entered? Here's your draft bills. Review the draft bills. Give me the edits. Make the edits. Send out the bills to the clients. They're all sent. They're done. The money starts coming in.
That's it.
Right? And for our most profitable lawyers, we're doing that twice a month. So anybody that practices family law, we highly encourage to bill twice a month.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great communication tool. It actually keeps cash flowing in a lot faster. But the real foundation for that is trust. Getting trust retainers up front.
Yeah.
If you can build that into your fee agreements in such a way that your client actually understands what a trust retainer is, and that it actually needs to be replenished. So Clio has a great tool for trust replenishment. We use those tools to help our clients as well. But getting that language built into your fee agreement, which is where it all starts, right? Expectations.
Yep.
And after you do your billing, we can run a report to say, okay, these clients are below their trust balance. They need to replenish up to this amount. Now we go send them an invoice that says, hey, you got to replenish your trust.
That's
okay,
right.
so that cycle just keeps going. And the more you get the mindset about not working for free and actually asking for money up front, your business will change.
I mean, Peggy, what I've seen, and so I'm a time subs consultant from way back, right? And so this concept of requesting and replenishing trust funds is very natural to me, and I do it in my business, right? You two things to think about: if you can get over the fear of asking for your customers, that is a big thing, right? Lawyers, they nobody likes to ask for money. But
Yes.
that's what we do business for, is to make money, and that's what they came to you for, is to spend money.
Right.
So don't be afraid to say, here's how I work. It's a fear. The second thing, when you have a problem client, you get their warning signs very early that you've got a problem. Not all clients are the best clients for you in your practice.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
What about processing of payments? Peggy, what do you recommend for processing of payments?
Oh, we high credit cards. Why not?
Yeah.
Credit cards. We're seeing it. So we're seeing a trend of more profitable businesses definitely take credit cards, and it happens like that. I mean, you send the invoices out through Clio, they get the link, they make the payment, and the money's in the bank.
Yep.
Okay.
Just like that.
Now, what we're starting to see more, and it actually depends on your state, because I know Colorado and Florida don't allow surcharges on credit cards, but you can now with products like LawPay, you can actually behind the scene add in an automatic 2.8% or 3% credit card processing fee to your invoices, so that you're not shouldering that whole burden of accepting credit cards. The other thing we're seeing is a big trend towards ACH payments.
Mm-hmm.
And with LawPay, which is of course the main credit card processing
Oh
for
yeah.
law firms, and integrates with all the software, cloud-based
Everything.
software out there. They have e-checks, so instead of paying their 2.8 or 3%, it's a flat $2,
Yep.
um, which is a lot less expensive than paying the fees. So incorporating that whole how you take payments into your billing workflow makes a big difference.
So Peggy, I mean, you have just in this short amount of time we've been on the show, you've covered start to finish, soup to nuts of the financial aspects of a law firm, you know. And the problem is that I think a lot of lawyers don't spend enough time. And I'm going to say it. I hate saying it. It's coy, but it stands to reason. You work too much in your business than on your business.
Yeah.
And this is what Peggy does. They've been doing it for years. They're experts at it. Just in this little bit of time, you know what? This is a recording, right? If you catched it on podcast, if you caught it on LinkedIn, listen and watch it over and over again. The things that Peggy is saying, these are not new things. These are not new problems. These are problems that lawyers and their firms have had for 25 years that I've been doing what I'm doing. Same thing for you, Peggy.
Yes.
So it is absolutely. And call Peggy. Peggy, I'm going to put your website up on the screen if you don't mind.
Yeah. I
You
was
want to
also
tell
going
everybody?
to tell you, on my website, I did a fantastic presentation at Clio conference on understanding financial reports and your profitability. It's on my website. It was the most popular session, I think, through the whole Clio conference, but
Mm-hmm.
it breaks down how to build a meaningful profit and loss statement, how to read a profit and loss statement, how to do a trust through a match report, how to do billing. It's
Yeah.
a great resource out there.
Yep, www.cpn-legal.com. Peggy, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Um, you know, hey, I got to walk this up to you, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. You do. Yeah.
This is our new No Law Firm Left Behind magazine that just came out this month. It's our first run. We're so excited about it. If you haven't gotten your copy, just put in the comments, or just email me, find me, or post it on No Law Firm Left Behind on LinkedIn. Great magazine, great stuff inside. It's about business building and about inspiration, changing your mindset, things of that nature. Like this month, it's George Foreman. There was an interview we got with George Foreman in the magazine. Of all people, what a brilliant business mind. Real quick, Peggy, I know you are a member, but if you're listening or if you're watching and you're not a member of our LinkedIn group, No Law Firm Left Behind, by all means, please go to LinkedIn and search No Law Firm Left Behind and join the group. It's an exclusive group. We don't just let anyone in there. You have to be a legal, let's say a legal, expert, right, in the industry. Somebody like Peggy and I, or a lawyer, or a legal professional. We put all these up on that site, on that group, as well as lots of other information. Plus, if you want to catch the show on podcast, it's on all the podcast platforms: Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. I just can't go on. I can't think of all of them. Spotify. But if you want to, you can go to our linktree.com/splicenet to find all of the links there. So, Peggy, I really appreciate it. And next week, we've got an awesome guest. David Lefton is joining us next week.
Oh my God, David is. He's a great friend. Yeah.
Great guy. Also, is he past president of the Bar Association yet?
Ohio State Bar.
Yeah, is he passed yet, or is he still president?
I think he just winded down his term.
Yeah, he's winding down. If not, it's anyway. David Lefton is just a phenomenal lawyer and the president of Ohio State Bar Association, joining us next week as well. And I think the week after that, we've got Rob Ziegler from the Northern Kentucky Bar Association president. I think that's who we've got the next week after that. So real exciting shows coming up.
Yeah.
What's that, Peg?
Julie.
Julie's not on the show. We've got Rob Ziegler president. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's due to Julie that we have Rob on. So let's not leave her out. So listen, thanks again for joining, Peggy. Great information. If you have a question or comment in any of the platforms and we'll find it. We'll make sure we get you to Peggy if you need to. Again, www.cpn-legal.com. Peggy, thanks again.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.